New code of conduct designed for expatriates working in government departments. 2 dead from starvation at the Manam Care Centre. And lay police hunt for prisoners who broke out of Buimo jail.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Genia.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Thursday's news. There's a new code of conduct for non-citizen technical advisors in government departments and provincial administrations. This follows the new regulation regarding the engagement of non-citizen technical advisors in Papua New Guinea. The code outlines the standards of behaviour expected of all expatriate advisors working in Papua New Guinea government departments.
Secretary for the Department of Personnel Management, or DPM, John Cully, said that in compliance with the new regulation, there had been a series of dialogue between the PNG government and all donor agencies in the country. From the dialogue, a new code of conduct for non-citizen technical advisors was developed. Today marked the first signing of non-citizen technical advisors based within DPM. 3 of its advisors, all from Australia, signed the new code.
So that, they're working consistently within the service delivery requirements of the government of Papua New Guinea.
Mr. Kali said he would be writing to all heads of departments to prioritize the implementation of the new code.
In this way, we are encouraging all the other departmental heads in the public service to take the cue and to also make sure that all the advisors working in their respective departments and the provincial administrations also sign the code of conduct.
The new code of conduct identifies key behavioral standards for advisors, such as the requirement to behave ethically, show respect, promote staff development, and maintain confidentiality. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guineans across the country will now be waking up to Channel 7's Sunrise breakfast show on your #1 to watch, EMTV. Under a legally binding agreement with Australia's Channel 7, EMTV will commence the airing of the breakfast show starting next month. This is only the first of more content exchange under the partnership.
Story is absolutely incredible.
Currently owned by 7 West Media Limited, 7 Network, more commonly known as Channel 7 or simply 7, is the second most watched Australian commercial free-to-air network. Highest rated Australian television network since 2007, ahead of Channel 9, Network 10, ABC and SBS, Channel 7 went on to win all 40 out of 40 weeks of the rating season for total viewers in 2011. As of 2014, in terms of reaching population, Channel 7 is the second largest network in the country. The announcement of the exciting new partnership between Channel 7 and EMTV through Media New Guinea Limited is marked by the airing of Australia's #1 breakfast show, Sunrise, that will go on air on EMTV starting next Tuesday at 5:30 a.m. in a move to bring the show's popularity to PNG's free-to-air viewing population. Sunrise is the first of what is expected to be a growing list of program content to be shared in PNG. Meet co-hosts Samantha Armitage and David Koch, more widely known as Sam and Kochi, who will be waking up with EMTV every morning starting next month. Media New Guinea Limited Chief Executive Officer Bano Sood said this will boost EMTV's growing number of viewers and offer Channel 7 up to half of the population tuning into their most popular program as an exciting addition to EMTV's morning program lineup. Mr. Sood said that March will be the start of many new things to come in terms of content for EMTV, adding that apart from the already large following for Sunrise in PNG, through its pay-per-view cable market, this agreement between EMTV and 7 is a legitimate push for quality content. Lorraine Gabina, National EMTV News.
The body of the late MP for South Bougainville, Stephen Kama, arrived this morning from the Philippines. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was among others who welcomed the late MP at the Port Moresby International Airport. The South Bougainville MP died in Philippines last Friday while seeking medical treatment.
This Anugini aircraft from Manila carrying the casket of the late national parliamentarian arrived at 5 this morning. Waiting for the casket was wife Anna, children Michael and Pamela, including families, friends, PNG pest control staff, airline workers and national government officials. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill also joined family and welcomed his fellow statesman, the late Stephen Pirke Kama. The late Kama was the Member of Parliament representing the people of South Bougainville and also as Minister assisting the Prime Minister on Bougainville matters. National Coordination Office of the Bougainville Affairs Director Alison Toalum said Kama's death is a great loss to the people of Bougainville.
It's also a sad loss to the people of CY and Buin and the people of South Bougainville and Bougainville as a whole. Very, very sad loss because of the man was a quiet achiever. He delivered on his DSIP, but also he participated in cabinet decisions.
The body of the late MP will lie at the funeral home, awaiting arrangements for the state funeral next week, then flown to the autonomous region of Bougainville for burial. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
A Catholic parish priest has died from injuries sustained in a road accident yesterday afternoon in Lorengau. A speeding vehicle lost control before it veered off the road and ran into the priest. Father Alois Pamelin, in his 80s, from BP Island in Manus Province, served the church for almost 45 years, having joined the priesthood in 1971. He was rushed to the Lorengau General Hospital, but medical staff were unable to save him. The driver of the vehicle has been detained by police and investigations are underway. There has been an increase in traffic-related deaths in the province in recent years. Promised relief supplies for the Manam Islanders at the care centres are yet to be delivered, while a mother lost a baby and a father of 2 children also died from starvation at the care centre. Several others fell unconscious and were rushed to the nearest health centre. While medical help is what they now need urgently, what their bodies haven't been getting for a while now is food. Rachel Shise with this report from Madang.
A mother from the Manam Care Centre is said to have lost a baby who was a week old because she had no strength left after giving birth and couldn't feed her baby due to the no food situation at all 3 care centres. Another man, a father of 2, is also said to have passed away because his body wasn't strong enough to heal after he fell sick and was put on medication. Several others who have also fainted include a grade 8 female student and 2 elderly women of 65 and 70 years old respectively. Doreen Kaut-Jong, the officer in charge of the Asarumba Health Centre, says the people are not sick. They are hungry and falling unconscious, then rushed to her, but she will not put them on medication because that will kill them. In a recent interview with the Madang Provincial Administrator, Daniel Aloy, the relief supplies were going to be delivered as soon as possible.
As I'm speaking now, the relief efforts are being worked on now to see if we could get it across to Manam quickly.
The relief help is yet to be delivered, and according to the Madang Disaster Office, funds are yet to be accessed from the Governor's Office. Those who are most affected at the care centres are the children, the very elderly people and the breastfeeding mothers at this time. Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
And among stories after the break, rebuilding the volcanic town of Rabaul in the East New Britain province. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Rebuilding the volcanic town of Rabaul in East New Britain province has been long and slow. Yesterday marked one of these events in many months aimed at keeping its public services alive. The Rabaul District Administration presented new water tanks and an ambulance to the town's authority to boost public service morale. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
In this small but significant ceremony yesterday, the handing over of an ambulance and water tanks from the district's administration to the Rabaul Town Authority aims to beef up its public services in the town. Such gatherings are few and far between over the years in this volcano town, and although it represented a hint of political will, Rabaul MP Dr. Alan Marat, who is also a member of the opposition, has cautioned his people to take heed of the PNG's economic downturn that has set in, as districts will expect to see a plunge in basic service delivery in the coming months.
Money is scarce now. I have seen our economy under pressure. Pressure from low commodity prices.
It is of common knowledge that Rabaul and its nearby areas won't be brought back to its glory days, but in a piecemeal approach, its district government heads are putting an effort to pull together its people and provide them with the services they need.
And it is to be used to cut sick people. Sick people, no one else, but just sick people.
About 5,000 Rabaul people, including people from other ethnic groups, live within the town area, and many more occupy the outer fringes of the town and the villages. The remnants of the 1994 volcano eruption are still here, and life is as normal, but development here has been long and slow.
Plenty of old man they are living just at the brink of below poverty line.
Many chose not to come back after the eruption, except for business houses and public servants who are keeping the district's basic services alive. While the district is seeing some changes, at least its ultimate aim is to keep its public service machinery alive and to continue providing services to its people and others who have chose to live here. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
At least 9 buses belonging to the Manus Island Regional Processing Centre were impounded and released by Naringal youths on Manus Island on Tuesday. This followed a disagreement between youths and the management of the processing centre after the youths were turned away when they sought employment. Manus Acting Provincial Police Commander Senior Inspector David Yapu confirmed the incident and labelled it as unlawful. Senior Inspector Yapu said the youths have given a set of demands to the management of the centre and are awaiting a response. EMTV spoke to Senior Inspector David Yapu in Manus this morning.
They were denied a job opportunity, long camp. I think the HR manager with the company, the approach that Emi Wakim towards them was sort of an insult. Emi deny him a job opportunity long on because of that approach. Only taking advantage. No. This all bus Wakim all runs, blocking all Walkman, Walk Mary from Lombrum to Lorengau. Only hijack him all now. Only set him roadblock long junction long Roti Gosem long Momoten, Roti Kamosem long Lorengau. So it's total of 9 buses. We negotiated that the bus be released back because we interfere with the operations for company. Only releasing bus gone. When provinces belong only give the management by management addressing the level block company. Yeah. There was no damages done. The action was illegal and unlawful. Interfere with the operations of the company. Only stranded. They're supposed to go to work. They did not go because the only means of transportation is those bus. Let the normal operations continue because operations belong this processing center along Manus and we bring him development and bring him services in the province.
Transporting medical supplies and patients to nearest Agivaru Health Centre in the Kairukuhiri district of Central Province is a challenge for health workers at Pinu Aid Post. The distance between the rural aid post and health centre is about 10 kilometres. Community health worker Isa Oa said with the increasing number of patients daily, medical supplies don't often last. Added to that is the problem of transporting emergency cases to the nearby health centre. Eric Harupma with this report.
Buimo Post is like a main facility providing medical treatment to the entire Gabadi and the surrounding Manu and Gorowu villages of Kariko. Community health worker Aisa Owa is the officer in charge of this small but important service line for the people. Mrs. Owa has been instrumental in the delivery of health services to the people since its establishment in 2007. EMTV arrived at Buimo Post in the Gabadi village yesterday and spoke to Mrs. Owa.
I do antenatal clinics here and then I deliver the mothers here as well. So sometimes when the mothers are like, especially when they are really bleeding a lot, I just have to put a drip and then send them down for further medication.
Mrs. Owa is a dedicated medical officer. Every day she sees up to 20 patients. Diagnosing, treating and making referrals are some of the daily tasks. She said minor cases are treated there, however severe emergency cases like antenatal are referred to Agivaru Health Centre. She also admitted patients with drips and assisted pregnant mothers deliver babies.
Take their findings, like put a thermometer to check their temperature if they are having fever or like that, or use this stethoscope to check their chest if there's any abnormal sound in their chest or like this. So I take their findings and then I treat them accordingly.
However, to source medical supplies, she usually pays for vehicles to transport the supplies from the Agivaru Health Centre to the aid post.
Agencies, because I don't have any vehicle here, so the only thing I have to do is look for the transports outside village trucks to take the patients to refer them to Agivaru where the ambulance is there, so they can take the patient to POM-GH.
Rikaruma, National EMTV News.
Leizangao Hospital continues to experience blood shortages in its blood bank supplies. In a day, the donations are limited to less than 10 volunteers, but most times it remains at 0. The blood bank unit aims to involve more business houses and students to complete its search of collecting blood supplies.
This blood bank at Leizangao Hospital receives blood donations from volunteers, but the supply is not frequent. It is also a blood bank slowly running out of blood supplies every day following a rise in patients' blood transfusion needs. Its sister in charge, Mary Hungito, revealed the blood bank constantly faces shortage of blood supplies, sometimes leaving the hospital with no blood supply at all.
It's a referral hospital. So patients are coming from different parts of the country to come in for treatment here, and it's a high demand of blood. And during this festive period, it was so difficult.
In a day, the blood bank records up to 10 volunteers that come in to donate. At its peak period in the middle of a year, up to 50 volunteers, mostly students, donate blood daily to the hospital. But it is still not enough to cater for all the patients' needs at the hospital.
There are always critical shortages when times of injury and accidents and emergencies take place, so there is always a need for blood.
Engao today received a newest bus for its blood bank unit to help in carrying out more blood donor transfusions around the province.
We're very proud and privileged today to be presenting the Engao Hospital a blood bus.
Engao's blood bank unit continues to supply blood at its wards to save patients' lives, but at a very low amount. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Leh.
Still in Leh City, Leh police are on the hunt for an unspecified number of prisoners who broke out of Buimo prison at about 3 p.m. this afternoon. Metropolitan Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. issued an alert on Facebook and confirmed that 2 prison officers were injured whilst attempting to contain the breakout. Unconfirmed reports also indicate that police and CS officers have reportedly shot some of the prisoners.
Alerts were issued on social media when word got out that there was a massive breakout at Leh's Buimo prison. Leh Metropolitan Commander Anthony Wagambi confirmed that 2 prison officers were injured by prisoners during the escape. What we have gathered is that some of the prisoners who escaped were shot by police and or correctional service officers. Wagambi confirmed late this afternoon that 11 prisoners were shot and killed and 17 wounded and recaptured. Community leaders have been very much involved in the initial recapturing of some of the prisoners. Late this afternoon, police searched West Taraka and neighboring suburbs. They are the most likely routes to be taken by prisoners based on previous experience. This is the second major breakout in 2 years. Last year, several prisoners were shot when more than 50 prisoners escaped. Lay police are advising residents to take extra precautions during this time. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Lay.
And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3290 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3215, $0.4437 Australian dollars, $0.2887 euro and 35.78 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa closed higher, while gold, coffee and copper closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 53.21 points higher. The ASX closed at 6.181 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 1.436 points higher. Still ahead in the news, TB cases on the increase. The World Health Organization comments on the Zika virus and the first appeal for victims of Cyclone Winston. I'll be back with the details. Welcome back. Extrapulmonary cases of tuberculosis have been detected in Daru Western Province. According to Daru General Hospital Chief Executive Officer Sister Opa Tugo, 478 cases have been detected. The number of patients diagnosed has also increased since the beginning of the year.
The extrapulmonary TB cases is triple than the new pulmonary TB cases of 174. Total cases are 652, detected from October 2015 to January 2016.
We are having bed space problem. We have only 60, like 19 beds made for the MDR TB.
Number of patients accessing treatment has increased to 227, and according to the hospital's chief executive officer, this is because of the preventative health awareness carried out in the area.
Most of our patients are out there in the community and they've been treated through the treatment support programs called that, which the sites have been allocated with the staffs, and at the community, 5 community been identified.
Number of patients diagnosed with multi-drug resistant TB now stands at 161, and Sister Tugo says it's expected that by 2018 there should be a decline on the TB epidemic in Daru, Western Province.
But our next plan of action now is doing the active case finding.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The World Health Organization has revealed that things could get worse before they get better as Brazil tackles a public health emergency stemming from the Zika outbreak. WHO Director General Margaret Chan was visibly moved as she spoke to reporters in Rio following her visit to mothers in the north of Brazil whose children have microcephaly, a brain defect whereby babies are born with abnormally small heads thought to be linked to the Zika virus.
The comments came a day after Chan said Brazil's government is doing all it can to mobilize Brazilian society in fighting the formidable Aedes mosquito. Chan also stressed on Tuesday that the government is working very closely with the International Olympic Movement, with the local organizing committee supported by the World Health Organization to ensure maximum safety for visitors to the Olympic Games in August. With no cure or vaccine for Zika, the only way to deal with the virus at present is to reduce the population of the Aedes mosquito that also carries the dengue and chikungunya viruses. Chan said Brazil has been very transparent in sharing information on the virus with the rest of the world and taking a leadership role in collaborating with other countries in the research and development of diagnostic tools and a vaccine.
Courage. The courage of the government to deal with a daunting task. We encourage the government. Things can get worse before it gets better. We learn from our experience. And we know that we are also dealing with a tricky virus, full of uncertainty. So we should be prepared for surprises. On courage again, I met with 3 mothers in the hospital. I hold their babies. I talk to them. I ask them questions. Each and every mother was so committed to do what they can for their baby with microcephalus, with the support of the government. So let me once again thank you.
Brazilian Health Minister Marcelo Castro says an international team is working in the north of the country to determine if there really is a causal link between the Zika virus and microcephaly, which the World Health Organization has previously said was strongly suspected. Brazil's health ministry said on Tuesday that the number of confirmed and suspected cases of microcephaly has risen to 4,690 from 4,443 a week earlier. Of these, the number of confirmed cases climbed to 583 from 508 a week earlier. Brazil considers most of the cases of microcephaly to be related to Zika, though the link between the virus and the birth defects has not been scientifically established. Scientists are also studying a potential link between Zika infection and Guillain-Barré, a rare neurological disorder that can weaken the muscles and cause paralysis. Lorraine Gabina, EMTV World News.
A donation of 50,000 kina from the Melanesian Trustees Services Limited has kicked off the Fiji High Commission's Cyclone Winston appeal in PNG. MTSL Chief Executive Officer Kennedy Wemin said the gesture is a show of support and empathy for our Melanesian brothers in their time of need. First Secretary of the Fiji High Commission in PNG said damages from Cyclone Winston are estimated to cost thousands of millions of dollars.
In a small but significant gathering at the Fijian High Commission office in Port Moresby today, MTSL CEO Kennedy Wemin presented a cheque of 50,000 kina towards the Cyclone Winston appeal.
We all, I think from a distance, we're quite taken aback by the devastation of the Cyclone Winston damage, obviously to the wonderful, beautiful islands of Fiji. And we thought that, as a Melanesian neighbor, I think it was important that we came to the aid in a small way to try and start the process of rebuilding and healing.
First Secretary of the Fijian High Commission, Vilitati Mataitini, thanked MTSL and the people of Fiji for their heartfelt support towards the people of Fiji.
We are grateful as the representative office here in Papua New Guinea. We are grateful for the show of support and sympathy from the government of Papua New Guinea, from companies like institutions like we're witnessing here today, and ordinary members of Papua New Guinea. For that, we are most grateful indeed. Thank you very much.
Miss Pacific Islands Abigail Havora also presented a cheque of 2,000 kina from the Miss Pacific Islands pageant PNG.
The contribution is our show of support, and as we stand in solidarity with our Fijian neighbors. I not only represent PNG but Pacific Islands, in general. So this is our way of saying we're standing with you and we support you. We send our sympathies and we pray that God will restore you.
First Secretary Mataitini said that with the death toll now over 40, Fiji has declared a state of emergency and is seeing relief efforts flood in from other countries such as Australia and New Zealand. He said the PNG government has also indicated support. Deli Waigeno, National, EMTV News.
Meanwhile, all Air Niugini flights to Nandi International Airport in Fiji have resumed as of yesterday. The clearance was given after risk assessments were conducted after flights were suspended due to Cyclone Winston. Cyclone Winston swept through Fiji over the weekend, causing millions of dollars worth of damage to properties and infrastructure. Several deaths were recorded and thousands of people have been left homeless. And we have a big lineup in sports. I'll be back with those details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Michael Marum has been named interim coach of the PNG Kumuls for the Pacific Test match against the Fiji Butties in Sydney on the 7th of May. Marum has been an integral part of both the Kumuls and SB PNG Hunters program over the past decade and makes for a fitting replacement for Mal Meninga.
PNG RFL chairman Sandy Saka said the 42-year-old is no stranger to rugby league, having played and coached the game at many levels and is fitting for the job.
For the last 2 years, he's won various awards, both domestically and internationally as a player and a coach. And we know that for the upcoming test match, he and the team will do the boys proud.
Marum himself has played in the local leagues before making a debut for the Kumuls in 2000, before taking up coaching responsibilities. On the international level, Marum was assistant coach to Adrian Lam, Stanley Gane and Mal Meninga. He said he was privileged to take up the role as Kumuls coach for the match against the Butties.
Yeah, I think I've been involved with the national team and a number of years now as a player and coach, and I think I've been always been assisting various coaches. So to take control of the side, I think it's honor, and on top of the already job with the Hunters there. So.
Marum's coaching techniques with the Hunters will be the same with the Kumuls, but may vary because of the level of competition.
We want to stick to what we've been doing, as maybe a majority of the boys will probably come from the Hunters, and also the boys that have left us played overseas, like Kato Otio, the Wellington brothers. I think that they're used to that game we've been playing before. So, and also that's just a game plan that we used to have with Mal Meninga and Adrian Lam. So.
Marum's role as Kumuls coach is not permanent. It's only for the match on the 7th of May in Parramatta. Following the match, the PNG RFL board will appoint a permanent coach to lead the Kumuls to the 2017 World Cup. Elijah Lavette, National, EMTV Sports.
The PNG Rugby Football League has confirmed a total of 44 affiliated leagues to attend this year's annual general meeting in Port Moresby. On their agenda will be the discussion of altering dates for their financial year to coincide with the Rugby League calendar of events.
The business of the AGM is basically three things. As the chairman, I will present the annual business report of the PNG RFL and Rugby League, what happened in Rugby League in 2015. And then we'll provide the audited financial statements on the business of the PNG RFL. And then the third agenda we'll be looking for is we're asking the AGM to, because the AGM is the only body that can move constitutional amendments, we'll be putting to them to make one constitutional amendment, basically to change the financial year from what currently we have financial year reporting from January to December. But our Rugby League season ends in October, and then it's a November to October season. So for reporting purposes, January to December is not feasible for us, so we're asking the AGM to change the financial reporting year from November to October so it conforms with our Rugby League calendar.
Earlier this month, PNG Netball announced their plans on the expansion of the code with the inclusion of a men's and mixed netball competition. In their efforts to further develop the code and improve the standard nationwide, they have identified the strengthening of domestic competitions as a key priority area of focus. This will include creating pathways and competitions to be played at all levels, beginning in the schools right through to the provincial level, later the national team. Among the changes to strengthen domestic competition in Papua New Guinea, PNG Netball will be introducing a national schools outreach program focusing on capacity building of primary school girls throughout 4 regions of the country. New events will also include a new player pathway program specifically for high-performing athletes, including a national netball league, PNG Games, university games, and a men's and mixed netball competition.
PNG has recently endorsed the men's and mixed netball to commence in March. This is to introduce the weekly games. This is outside of the proper netball competition that we run here in Port Moresby under the Port Moresby Netball Association.
This year will see a slight change to PNG Netball's domestic competition structure, with the separation of the annual national championships to be held between the 4th and the 7th of July and the junior championships between the 15th and 18th of September. PNG Netball said the decision to separate these 2 events is to enhance the quality output of each event, placing emphasis on different divisions and levels of competition. Secretary of Netball Papua New Guinea, Mona Lisa Leka, said the Federation will be placing much of their emphasis on creating player pathways and development.
The target will be people playing outside of the high performance elite level, giving rise to wider participation.
With the annual Port Moresby Netball competition set to commence on the first weekend of March, PNG Netball will also be using this as an opportunity to launch their respective programs nationwide. Team PNG is aiming to participate in 7 different events in the Rio Olympics. This was made known today by Chef de Mission Emma YY at the launch of the Trukai Fun Run. Linda Babao O'Neill, Ryan Pinney and Linda Paulson were amongst a host of guests as Trukai Industries launched its annual fundraising drive.
The PNG Olympic Committee is preparing for its biggest fundraising drive, the Trukai Fun Run, and calls have been made for more corporate involvement in terms of sponsorship 4 months away from the Olympic Games to be held in Rio, Brazil. Wife of Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and patron of the Cancer Foundation of Papua New Guinea, Linda Babao O'Neill, thanked corporate sponsor Trukai for the theme of Protect Your Family and Eat Healthy being embedded on the new shirts that will be sold prior to the run.
The PNG Cancer Foundation is determined to bring awareness that cancer can be prevented, and is so grateful to the PNG Olympic Committee and Trukai Industries for having the Cancer Foundation message, protect your family from cancer, eat healthy and exercise regularly.
President of the PNG Olympic Committee, Sir John Dawaninkura, praised the 17-year partnership that both the committee and Trukai had formed over the years as they aim for Rio.
The funds raised from Trukai will obviously give the opportunity to our athletes to achieve their dreams of competing. Some previously in other Olympics, others their first step into the arena of the Olympic Games in Rio, and they joined the elite group of Olympians.
Swim star Ryan Pinney was on hand, the Pacific and Commonwealth gold medalist, stating that Rio would most likely be his swan song after the London Games, where he proved competitive against the world's best.
As Alex said, I'm getting ready for my 4th Olympics. I had no real intention of doing that. I remember stepping out of the pool in London where that video was shot, sort of almost giving a bit of a mental bow to the pool, saying thank you very much for having me. And here I am 4 years later, giving it another shot.
The final remarks were given to Chef de Mission Emma YY, who stated that Papua New Guinea would be aiming to compete in 7 different sports in the Olympics, which included athletics, shooting, boxing and taekwondo.
And Team PNG
is very excited about the opportunity that we've been given. We may not be as many as we were last year, but I think the difference is the team going this year is the best of the best. And so our aim is to go there and perform at our optimum best and do our country proud.
In 2015, 50,000 people took part in the fun run, and the target for this year is double that number, with the run to be held on the 26th of June. Jeremy Moggy, National, EMTV Sports.
While November is 9 months away, a local level government in East New Britain has already begun an effort to identify its sporting talents for the PNG Games. One LLG in the Rabaul district sees the need to initiate an early preparation as it aims to identify fresh athletes to contribute to Team East New Britain for the big event. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
It's not always that the people from the Balanataman local level government of Rabaul district in East New Britain gather for such sporting event, but for the next 2 days they will be here. Every February they gather to stage these 3 days of sporting events that brought together young men and women from within its 5 local level government wards. And yesterday, during its opening, it signifies its success for the 5th year.
That we have organized ourselves in order to take these LLG games in advance so that we'll prepare our sports athletes so that they can get good training and they can give the best.
It marks the beginning of their efforts towards identifying sporting talents for the coming 7th PNG Games in the neighbouring West New Britain province in the latter part of this year. East New Britain has contributed more athletes in the last year's Pacific Games. Many of them were selected from the 2014 PNG Games in Lae. They have played the games, they have faced the challenges, and they have represented both the East New Britain province and Papua New Guinea in international games.
In the past all years with the LG Games and been come up with through.
The LLG's administration is now looking at keeping this event going over the years, as it is one of the only LLGs in the province that has held on to this initiative. For the athletes who, while many may not have a public profile as yet, it is here that they want to start their career in sports. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV Sports, Kokopo.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Following the successful staging of the 2016 Capital Rugby Union Invitational Sevens, the union has released their calendar of events for the remainder of the year. First on their list is the 15s Rugby Pre-Season, which kicks off this weekend at the Bava Rugby Park in Port Moresby, followed by the hosting of several other tournaments. 15s rugby will resume this weekend in the nation's capital, with the Capital Rugby Union adamant on getting rugby back on its feet. The format of competition will be similar to that of the hosting of the Sevens pre-season held earlier this month. Draws have been set and released for games to be played on 2 ovals at the Bava Rugby Park. Southern Chiefs under-19 team take on the Vikings at 9 a.m, while Defence front up to a strong Harlequins outfit in an afternoon match at 3:40 p.m. 6 women's teams are registered, with Southern Chiefs, Crusaders and Wanderers the usual features. With season proper set to begin shortly after, dates for the finals are secured, with elimination rounds in the last week of May. CRU have yet again had to configure their competition format, schedule and dates in accordance with the PNG Sports Foundation, as priority for all venues will be given to the hosting of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup later this year. With the 2016 Super Rugby season set to kick off this weekend, with the Auckland Blues taking on the Highlanders on Friday at Eden Park, the Australian conferences are ready to battle it out this year for the top spot in the finals. The New South Wales Waratahs are conference leaders once again, with the ACT Brumbies trailing not far behind. Among the 5 Australian franchises in the Super Rugby contest, the Waratahs and Brumbies are undoubtedly the favourites, having topped the Aussie Conference consecutively, making finals appearances before bowing out to the Kiwis. The Queensland Reds, however, are without their big guns, most notably former captain James Horwill and the Genya Cooper duo in the backline, as well as James O'Connor. However, there is hope in the forward pack with the signing of Wallaby second rower Kane Douglas and international recruit World Cup superstar.
Glorious first Saturday in the World Cup. That's a shame that goes through to Gomanaro.
While they may have been the most written off side in the Australian Conference, the team will be hoping to be carried forward with the support of fellow internationals Rob Simmons, Greg Holmes, Saya Fainga, Liam Gill and Jake Schatz. In Melbourne, the Rebels have maintained their squad with Scott Higginbotham, Mike Harris and Ben Meehan obvious features. Matt Hodgson will continue to lead from the front for Western Force, with Ben McCarman hopeful to star for the team again this year. The Force, however, hadn't had the best season last year, registering only 3 wins. This weekend, they take on Rebels on Saturday, while the Brumbies face the Hurricanes, the Rebels against Force, and the ultimate New South Wales-Queensland rivalry between the Queensland Reds and New South Wales Waratahs at Allianz Stadium. And that ends Trukai Sports. Your weather details up next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Now looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, partly cloudy with chance of few showers in Port Moresby, while chances of few showers in Daro and Kerma and brief showers for Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, chances of light showers in Ley City, brief showers for Madang, occasional showers for Wewak and showers in Buimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine in Lorengau, chances of few showers in Kavieng, partly cloudy with chances of few showers in Kokopo and Rabaul, and light showers for Kimbe and Buka. And lastly, in the Highlands region, cloudy with light showers for Mount Hagen, and cloudy with morning fog and light showers for Goroka, Mendi, Wabeg and Kundiawa. Now recapping our top stories for tonight. New code of conduct designed for expatriates working in government departments. 2 dead from starvation at the Manam Care Centre. And Ley police hunt for prisoners who broke out of Buimo jail. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight, Thursday, the 25th of February 2016. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Lorraine Genya. Pleasant viewing. Good night.